So now it's wiring time, the bit I've been looking forward to. So over here is the blacktop loom and fuse box. It's quite so much bigger than the old 16 valve one, but obviously this one doesn't have air conditioning or ABS or any of those extra things. So I want to try and retain using my factory little box as opposed to this big one. But first I obviously got to unpick all this wiring loom all the way through up to here. And same with this one here. I'll see where I get to. I have to do some more research, but I've been doing a lot of research but find nothing on it. So I'm hoping, because I can't find anything on it, that it's fairly simple and straightforward. But obviously we'll soon see. I naturally don't have to touch any of these sensors for the rest of the engine and all the injectors and everything like that. So hopefully this loom will go right through without being too complicated. So here we are on a Saturday night in the middle of the lounge room, and what else would you be doing but pulling apart a wiring loom? Just stripping it out. It's pretty hard, some of the bits. Just be careful not to cut all the wires, but pretty much through to the fuse box. And the idea is to try and pull out the loom that goes from the fuse box to the body, and then pull it out of my AE92 loom and put it into this one. Therefore these interior body loom plugs will be the same as what's in the car already. And then I've just got to hook in the factory wires to one of these ECU plugs that come from the dash. So basically what I've been doing is a lot of googling and research, but I can't find a lot on the internet, to be honest, which I thought might be because it's so easy, so there's no reason to write about it. I have found this page though. It's for AW11 MR2, so I sort of figured it's from the same sort of era, so they would have the same sort of plugs and whatnot. But this guy's put a 20 valve in it, which is, he's done quite a good write up on it. Basically tells you all the 20 valve plugs and what they are, so you can identify each plug. These are just the body harness ones, it's not the ECU. Although some of the ECU wires do go into these plugs, so it's pretty handy to look through. I'll put the link up so you guys can have a look if you're doing the same sort of thing. So basically I've just written down a few things for my 16 valve ones that I'm going to have to transfer over. This lot here is just all the ones coming down from the dash, and just these two are coming off out of the ECU, which I've had to cut out the other plugs. So one's the 22 pin plug and the other one's a 10 pin plug. And I've cut these ones because they actually go into the body harness. So I'm going to have to find out on the 20 valve loom where these, obviously it's not too bad, it's a starter and auto up diode. Just join those ones up, because obviously I've already cut them. So cut this one here, and I have also cut up, so this is the one is the auto up diode, and they all go into these, well, the factory AE92 body harness. So essentially this goes all the way to the fuse box. I'm going to have to obviously pull out these wires and connect it to my 20 valve setup and just put it back in there, because obviously these ones go out and then Still pretty hard to explain, but they go out in the actual engine loom, so you can either cut and splice them, or you can undo the whole entire loom and swap out the whole entire wire. But I'm looking at probably just trying to join out the connector if I can. Same with the alternator wires, because they're both the same on the 20 valve and the 16 valve. Just currently sitting on the floor working on this wiring. This is 20 valve wiring. It's actually pretty hard to document, so I don't know how well this video is going to go. Just trying to sort out where everything goes, and then like you're trying to cut through this. You feel like a surgeon because you can't cut through the wires, but you've got to cut through it with a razor blade, and they're all like sort of stuck in there. So I'll do my best, but yeah, it's pretty hard to document everything as to where everything goes. That's probably why I couldn't find anything about it online. So yeah, I'm slowly piecing away at it. So at the moment I'm just working through each plug which is on here, on this website. Just naming them or removing them out of the circuit. I'm just going through each plug at a time. Some I'm actually completely removing, like all the AC stuff, purely because I don't have air conditioning. And some of the ABS braking, I don't have any of that. So essentially I can get rid of, like this plug goes to the AC compressor. There's also these other plugs over here which I've all removed. They're for the air conditioning as well. So yeah, basically I'm working through each plug as I go, just deciding where they're going or whether I need them or not. So it's pretty much just track and trace really at the moment. Still a bit confusing, but yeah, I think if you work through one plug at a time, that's the easiest way to go, otherwise you just end up confusing yourself. So this is all the 20 valve loom. And then hopefully I can incorporate the 16 valve fuse box to body loom and the ECU wires. So this is the blue plug, which is one of the body plugs, and they found that 3 of these wires all go to this plug which goes on top of the gearbox, which is a lot of the speed sensors and ABS light and things like that. Don't know why it goes to the gearbox being ABS, but get rid of all that.
There's some lady from North Street.
Big bird's nest.
She came sniffing around my office this afternoon.
Vacated to the table again. It's getting a bit hard sitting on the ground for a long time. Got all these all these wires all labelled now. It's taken me quite a while to do this. And all the plugs cut off. Some people do take the terminals out, but that would just be pretty time consuming, to be honest, and half the terminal sizes are different to the 16 valve anyway, so it's still not going to work. So I decided just to cut them off, and I'm just going to probably solder them and shrink wrap them, just to ensure a good connection. So now it's the fun bit of working out what's going and what's staying, and from the body loom. So yes, just got to figure out where all this goes and disconnect some of those wires and do the same to my 16 valve one, my AE92, and then connect everything up, hopefully. Right, so I got these all laid out on the ground now, just taping them up. Basically I've got all the diagnostic plugs all in one line there. These centre ones are all ECU plugs and ones that go from the ECU plugs. And this section here is just basically heaps of other, well basically ones I've got to sort out, which go from there through to the factory fuse box of the AE111. So majority of those will probably actually come out, because I'm going to replace it with the ones from the 16 valve AE92 ones. So that's pretty much what I've done. Still got the engine loom all intact, haven't touched it. And I've got a bunch of wires here which are useless, they're all air conditioning ones. So yeah, slowly piecing it through into the AE92 wiring now. So just trying to trace where half of these wires go to, because some do go through to the fuse box and like the sensor here, but then there's a whole bunch of them which go into the actual engine wiring loom. I know one of them's like an oil pressure one. There's a few other basic ones, but yeah, just got to figure out where these ones go now. One thing I will say about this AE92 loom is everything's all nice, nothing's all tangled like that. You look over there to that one, it's just a big tangly mess, whereas this is just, yeah, pretty nice and well presented, easy to follow. So I've just been naming all these wires from the body loom for the AE92, which I'm going to chop through here and join with my 20 valve loom. A lot of these I've actually, they go to diagnostics and one goes to igniter. There's a few that go right round to the distributor, oil pressure. So it's pretty much just trying to name them all. I've been using that same website that I've been using for the 20 valve loom. It's got a few old 16 valve connections on there, and some of them I've just been tracing through with the little multimeter to see where they actually go to, and most are pretty self-explanatory. So basically all these big main wires, they'll just stay the same. I just put a join in there and join them to the 20 valve loom, same wires. So here we have is ECU pin C, 20 valve, 16 valve. It's actually, everything's all cut off, because these ones actually all come down from the gauge cluster, that part of the loom. Some of them on the 20 valve actually go to the fuse box, but because I'm using the 16 valve fuse box to fuse box to the body harness, some of these actually come down from the dash, because some of these go all the way right to the fuse box, which I'm not going to do. It's a little confusing, but yeah, all these come from the dash, which will hook up to this one here, just battery and all these ones that they have on the screen here. I've actually been working off another page here too, which is another one off Club 4AGEED. This is actually for an AE86 setup, but essentially it's the same as my 16 valve, just different layout, obviously being rear drive. It's got lots of information, diagrams, so I'll put the link up for this one too. It's very, very handy. The plugs, they're all different shape, but they're all the same wiring. So that plug there is the same as this one. So that's all the same, even though it's from the first generation blue top. But yeah, really helpful, useful information. Even tells you where to hook up some of the wires. Some of them different, like this one's got the wiper wires, which I don't have in my plug. Must be a completely different circuit. So yeah, still hacking away at it every night after work. It's a bit tedious, but yeah, it's got to be done. These pin size also on the ECU plug number C, they're all different sizes. I was actually going to pull that little terminals and swap them over, but the different sizes, so you might as well get that. You still got to join them. That would make it a lot tighter and easier in the car, but nope, it's not going to happen. 20 valve alternator wires, so you got yellow, red with blue and a white. It's just taking me a little while to figure this one out. So the red and the blue one goes to the yellow, or the black and the yellow for the AE92 wiring. This yellow one, which comes from the alternator, will actually go back to the fuse box. So then it meets up with this plug, which goes in the fuse box. And then we also have a white one that comes off, which will end up going to, where is it? This big solid one, the AE92 loom. Whereas actually on the 20 valve goes to this one here. So I'll just switch the plug over it, and then it should all hook into the AE92 loom. It's taking me about 20 minutes to figure that one out, but yeah, I actually had the black and the yellow connected up to this one here, and I was trying to figure out where this red and the blue was going to, but finally got it. Did a bit of tracing back to see where the yellow went to go to the fuse box. It's obviously on this page I was reading told me something completely different, and it sort of confused me up a little bit. Idle up control wire, which comes out of this body plug. I've joined it up with this one here, which is a black and blue, which is the ISC. It's the idle speed control wire, which goes to one of these sensors up here, the sensor up here. It's got 3 wires in it, if it focuses. That doesn't want to focus. Oh well. Yeah, so it goes to that plug. I'm still trying to figure out what this brown one is. It goes to diagnostics, so I might have to splice it into the diagnostics plug, as there is a brown one that comes out of it, but then I've got to trace where that goes. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory really, it's just finding where they meet up to. Some of them have to go into the ECU wires, splice into them. There's a heap of grounds in here which will join up. Some of them are actually tracing through on the 16 valve loom to where they actually go to, and then I can trace them on this 20 valve loom. Is the same principle, but obviously sometimes the different colours or different size wires. Some of them quite a lot larger than the 16 valve and vice versa. Wiring loom is pretty much done now, besides connecting into the car and hooking up these wires to the dash plug. You got your alternator wire there, main body harness there, ECUs, this one here. I pulled out a few terminals, and I just got to hook up the starter to the connection on this one here, as well as the interior plug. And down this end I've just got to hook up the battery to the main cable that's inside the car. Not too sure about the fan wires at the moment. These come from the ECU, but in my AE92 they come from out of the fuse box and they go up under the inner guard. So I'm not too sure right now how that actually works, but if it doesn't work I'll just splice these ones into the terminals on the fuse box underneath. But I'm not too sure how the big port T-bus AE92 detects when to turn the fan on or not, because there's no wiring in the ECU for it besides the water temp sensor, which went into this one here, which is the body loom. But yeah, everything else is pretty much ready to go. All the alternator wires and starter motor wires, they're all just hooked up to the same old ones. The fuses for the 20 valve, they're slightly different. Well, obviously won't be having the ABS, but these are the AE92 ones. So one's a 30 and that one's a slightly different. So we'll see if we get on. Hopefully get in, give it a start up, and then pull it all out again, then wrap it up for its final. So it's all done. So I don't want to wrap it up now and then find I have to pull something out or change something if it doesn't work properly. But pretty confident that it will work. Spent many hours on this. Just remove my 20 valve headers. Just going to take them into work and blast them up. Paint them. I've noticed compared to my 16 valves, these are pretty darn clean, eh? Usually all my other ones had real thick carbon. About the 3 or 4 I've worked on. Preparing my head now for blasting and paint. Just trying to remove all these seals out from around the spark plugs, and they require a lot of obviously prying out and smashing because they don't come out very easily, especially when the factory ones from way back. It's been through a lot of heat cycles. Also been scratching all the carbon that's on the top, but that will be cleaned out once it's all blasted. Set to go, all the bits ready to go in the old AE86. Just got to my work. This is my boss's brother's mean old Land Cruiser, the V8. Got the old twin pipes out there. WRX seats, pretty mean, eh? He's got it for sale at the moment. So yeah, I'm not too sure what sort of V8 it is. Just put a new carb on it. It sounds pretty grunty when it goes down the road. It sort of looks. Anyway, that's not what I'm here for. My exhaust manifold all set up. I'm just going to whack these off so it's all nice and flush looking. So along the edges here you can see there's like some casting marks along there. I'm just going to remove those off so it's smooth and flush before I paint it up and blast it. So I go right around and just makes all the difference to the finish. But overall, it's not too bad. It's just just the casting marks. All done now. So it's not a biggie, but it makes a difference to the finish. So now I'll just get a bit of degrease and blast it up, and she'll be like new. One clean blast up manifold. That's a pretty good job. Takes a while though, because you go through all the crooks and crannies. But the best way of doing it to get it all thoroughly all through the cracks and tight areas. So now it's ready for degrease and heat-proof paint. Now it's time to do the cam cover. This should be a lot easier. Come off pretty quickly. And I'll clean up all that as well at the same time. There we go. Let's see what the final result is. Dusty in there. All clean as. A couple of areas I've got to focus on and get that stuff off, but overall she's really good. Back home now. Got the headers all hanging up, ready for some paint before they get any rust on them. So I'm doing the base just with a silver heat-proof paint, and then the finish of the cast iron colour, which is the same as in the AE86. But I don't really have heaps of that left, so I'm just doing the base of the silver just for coverage, and finish it off with that one. So we'll get to it. Just got one coat of silver on now. So when it's all cured, had a bit of heat treatment, it should turn out looking all goldy colour like that. I painted that back in about March, I think it was, before Toyota Fest. There you go, it's quite a cool colour. Quite unique with the heat. But then lower down it still stays the same colour. Goes into two. Just at the moment I'm just pulled this VVT solenoid out of here, which I'm gonna reseal because it had a little bit of an oil leak. I asked Toyota about a new O-ring, but they've just told me that they don't do them, so I guess I'll be sealing it up. Looking alright, eh? Just got the flywheel machined. Got a heap of new seals today, turned up from Toyota. Just pulled everything off, ready to drop it on the ground and put the flywheel and new seal on the back and the clutch on. Got my LSD down there in the gearbox. The guy down Courtney Road put it in there. And then, yeah, chuck it in. Still got to finish off the wiring, but yeah, it's going good. A lot of crosses off on my list.
Drinking in a room where they